When you find yourself always constantly trying to seek validation as an adult, it mainly derives back from your childhood. It mainly derives back from when you were a child and you were in a type of environment where the adults or whoever was in charge of taking care of you or looking over you constantly scrutinized and criticized every little thing you did. Okay. So that could make you potentially always look to other people for approval, look to other people for advice on certain situations before you make those decisions. So, for instance, like for me personally, um, I have struggled throughout my life with seeking validation from other people. And it has been rooted in growing up in an environment where it was like every little thing you do is critiqued. Every little thing you do is like a whole lecture behind it. It's like if you do something wrong, it's awkward. It's the end of the world. Like nobody's really talking to you. Or when you go to school and you'll have people constantly like picking every little thing apart and just constantly being nitpicked when you're growing up. That is the main way how you can grow to be older and you can continue to seek validation from the people around you. And I need you to know one thing that's going to help you to stop seeking validation from other people is to know that nobody can whoop you. You're grown. Nobody can whoop you. Nobody can tell you what to do. It is your life. Okay. In a lot of my videos, I talk about how it's your life. You make whatever decisions that are best for you. You just have to be willing to deal with the whatever comes after those decisions that you make. Okay. You have to have enough faith in yourself and have enough faith that everything will work out in your favor. Okay. You have to really trust yourself. You have to build that inner relationship with yourself so that you can be more trustworthy to yourself so that you can honor the decisions that you make, so you can trust in the decisions that you make. A big way that people end up seeking validation from other people is because they don't trust themselves to make decisions because they have always relied so heavily on other people's opinions when it comes to making decisions, or always have placed so much weight in other people's opinions of them. Okay. So growing up, growing up from like a young age, I used to play basketball, right? So with playing basketball, um, I had my parents that were very involved in that process. So it could be like after every little practice, after every little workout, after every little training session, after every game, it was always like I just knew when I got in the car, the whole 30, 40-minute car ride home, it was just going to be talking about every little thing I did, talking about nitpicking every little thing I did, picking apart every little thing I did. And that turned me into the type of person that it wasn't even fun to me anymore. Because when I went on to play basketball, it was kind of like I couldn't even really enjoy it and have fun because I was worried about like, oh, I don't want to get chewed out in the car. Let me make sure I don't miss this layup because we're going to be talking about it for 30 minutes. Or, like it's just always like, and you always know that there's going to be an uncomfortable conversation if you mess up. You always know that you're never going to hear the end of it if you do something wrong. So with that being said, and then also when you kind of always have to, when you live in an environment like that where you kind of always got to perform to get positive reinforcement from somebody, like when you grow up and it's not like, hey, I'm proud of you. Just you don't never get a random I'm proud of you. It's always you have to always perform and do something to get um, positive reinforcement or a positive compliment. You always have to perform in order to get that type of response from somebody. Okay. You don't really typically hear, I love you randomly. It's always when something really tragic happens and it's a whole bunch of toxic stuff going on, or it's always when you do something good and like really, really good and they're proud of you in that moment. But you never really get any type of praise on a regular basis. So that can transform into being an adult and always still seeking that same type of validation from someone, always having to go to your parents or ask the people around you for opinions like, hey, like, should I do this, should I do that, am I doing good, you know, that transforms into you being an adult. Okay, so the one thing that you have to realize to stop seeking validation from other people is that other people's opinion of you is irrelevant. Okay, it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, everybody is their own person and they have their own personal demons. Okay, everybody has their own personal demons that they're dealing with. Okay, so nobody can tell you how to manage yours when they have their own that they need to be focused on. So, you also need to remember that all of us are human. Okay? All of us have two arms and two legs. Okay? All of us put on our pants one foot after the other. Okay? Nobody is more special than anybody else. Okay? It's all what you make of your life. You cannot be concerned what other people think of you because they simply have their own life to live. Okay, people can give you their 2 cents and people can give you their opinion, but at the end of the day, when they get off that phone with you, or if they're when they're done having that conversation with you, they are not even thinking about that conversation they had. They could be giving you some advice that you really are taking to heart, and you can go transform and uproot and turn your whole life upside down based on the advice that somebody else give you, and then they will literally forget what they even told you to do. Like, they'll literally forget that they even told you to do that. So while you're sitting there pondering on and hanging on the thoughts and opinions of somebody else, once they give their opinion to you about whatever you're doing in your life, they didn't went on with their life and they're focused on their own life and they forgot what they even told you. So when you think about seeking validation from other people, you need to think about, go all the way back to when you were growing up, because a lot of people like to um what's the word that I'm looking for? They like to basically like brush off how, or underestimate how much of an impact your life when you're growing up was. When you're growing up, you're very impressionable. Like, these are the first people say first impressions mean a lot, right? So when you're growing up and you're doing a lot of things for the first time and you're experiencing a lot of things for the first time, that experience that you have does make an impression on you. It does. And it can last long if you continue to soak in it and you continue to let it affect you. But one thing that you cannot do is continue to seek validation from other people when it comes to anything, okay? You have to be the one to determine your value. If you feel like you don't have any value, that's what's making you try to seek it from other people. But you have to build your confidence up enough. You have to step outside your comfort zone and start doing more things on your own without asking anybody else, should you do it first. See if you actually like something. See how something actually feels to you. And then you will be able to trust yourself more based on how you feel and not how other people feel. Okay. Or even if you were growing up and, like, for instance, when I was growing up, I'm tall. So I've always had, like, kids are childish or whatever. So, I've always had people bringing up the fact that I'm tall all the time, like saying that I look like a man because I'm tall and whatever else. So I remember when I was in I think it was like 6th or 7th grade, I had a crush on this boy or whatever, and I only liked him because he was tall. That's the only reason why I had a crush on him, because he wasn't even cute. But I had a crush on this boy, and you know how middle school is childish. So I had somebody go tell him about me, to kind of like hint around to see if he was feeling me or not. And he had made a comment that I looked like a man, because I was tall. Okay. And that comment literally stuck with me for so long. So anytime, like, going forward, I would say, like, throughout middle school and high school, like, it's like I had a point to prove. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was in love triangles I was in a love triangle in high school, hot mess, almost got expelled over it. Okay. Like, it was just kind of like I had a point to prove at that point. Like, instead of me understanding the value in myself and realizing that situations were toxic and situations were not for me, I was being a pick me because I was like, hey, like, I have to win. Like, if I'm dealing with this guy and he's talking to another girl, I have to be the one that wins. I have to be the one that he chooses because I don't want nobody, thinking anything less of me. I don't want nobody trying to say that I don't get the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that comment that that person made about me in sixth grade really stuck to me. So at that point, I had a point to prove that I was seeking validation in the wrong places. Okay. In situations that really were not serving me, that really were dragging me down, that really were beneath me for real, at the end of the day. But I was investing so much time and energy into it because I was seeking outward validation to know that, like, okay, so somebody wants me, so I don't really look like a man when I know good and well I don't look like a man. I look in the mirror every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never have been like not confident in how I look. Like, I've never said to myself that I was ugly. Okay, so which beauty isn't about how in the eye of the beholder. Okay, I don't think nobody on earth is ugly. Okay, it's everything is subjective. However, that situation made me seek validation through other situations. That love triangle that I was in when I ended up, quote unquote, winning and almost getting expelled from school over that, and that situation didn't work out. When I went to college and um my boyfriend had broke up with me like the first week of college. Okay, so that made me feel unworthy, and that made me want to seek validation, and then that forced me into another toxic relationship where I ended up getting pregnant and losing my scholarship. So it just has been a domino effect in my life because I was constantly seeking validation, okay, from other people. But if I would have known my worth, if I would have known how great of a person I was, of how much I brought to the table, on how if I was solid inside of myself, I would not have done all those things to turn my life upside down. I really would not have. Okay, I would have standed in my worth, and I would have been more focused, and I would have known that certain decisions were just not good for my life. Okay, so when it comes to seeking validation, you have to you have to build up yourself the way that you think about yourself. Okay, and a good way to start building up what you think about yourself is okay, you have to know that no one in this life is coming to save you. What I mean by that is, I don't mean that no one will ever help you with anything, no one will ever be there for you. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, the only person that you can 100% trust that is going to have your back until the very last second that you are breathing is yourself. So when you know that at the end of the day, the only person you can guarantee to always be there and to always make stuff happen is you, then you will stop relying so much on things outside of you, okay, to make you feel worthy. Okay, you have to do things to make yourself feel worthy. Okay, and it doesn't have anything to do with other people. You cannot prove to other people your worth. Either they see it or they don't. You have to convince yourself. Okay, you have to convince yourself. You have to get in that mindset that, hey, I am worthy. I am worthy of whatever it is that I want. And when you get in that mindset, when somebody comes along and tries to tell you it's unrealistic or tries to tell you that it's not going to happen, it'll go in one ear out the other because you don't trust what nobody else says if it's conflicting with what your inner self, what your inner image of yourself is. Okay. So you got to stop seeking validation from other people, because at the end of the day, when everything goes downhill from all the opinions and advice that you got from other people, they're not going to be there to pick you up. It's just going to be you. It's just going to be you. So you have to do what makes sense for you at the end of the day. Okay? And you cannot continue to want to get a golden star from other people, a golden sticker from other people every time you do something good. You can't expect for other people to clap for you. You can't expect for people to convince you how great of a person you are. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is getting something from you in this state of mind that you're in right now, then why would they want to change it? Why would they want you to change anything about yourself when they're getting the bigger end of the stick, when they're getting the good deal out of the partnership? If they're benefiting the most out of y'all's partnership or y'all's situation, why would they want you to feel better about yourself? Because then you're gonna start changing up. Then you're gonna start realizing that you don't want to do certain things anymore. If somebody loves you just the way that you are, okay? If somebody is accepting you just the way that you are, and you feel like you're not the best that you can be, but they're okay with you at that level, it's because they like the things that they can get from you, or that they're benefiting you at that moment. So they're not going to want you to do better. Deep down inside, they're not going to want you to level up. Deep down inside, they're not going to want you to find that self worth if they're benefiting from the state of mind that you're in right now. So stop seeking validation from other people, okay? If you grew up and you always had to tap dance for compliments, or you always had to do the most just to get people to give you positive reinforcement, or if any little thing you did was nitpicked apart and you never heard the end of it, then when you become an adult, just think of that as you being set free, and can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody tell you nothing. And you are the own author of your life. Nobody else determines what you deserve. Okay? If you are a Christian and you believe in a heaven or hell, nobody else makes the decision on where you're going at the end of the day. Nobody determines where your soul is going. Nobody else. So when you seek to them, go seeking for validation from other people, just think about that. Like, what heaven or hell can this person put me in? They have no authority at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things. Okay? They have enough of their life that they have to worry about. Okay? So just remember, you are your biggest fan and you are your biggest enemy as well. Okay? So each and every day that you wake up, just think to yourself, today, do I want to be my biggest fan, or do I want to be my biggest enemy? Do I want to be my biggest op today? Okay? You have to always be your biggest fan and your number one person in your corner, because nobody else is going to be. Nobody else is going to be, okay? So I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.